Hi, my name is Erin Hansen. I'm an HR generalist at Personnel Management Systems. Occasionally we have managers tell us they suspect their employees are showing up to work stoned. With the recent legalization of marijuana in Washington state, they wonder if that means that showing up to work under the influence is okay. The same as with alcohol, you don't need to allow it. You need to have a policy and you need to make sure you enforce it consistently. As a manager, I would recommend making sure that you have a clear, consistent policy and encouraging your employees to be very familiar with the policy as it is written. Make sure to enforce that policy as well. So if you suspect that there is an employee who's showing up to work under the influence, make sure that you've got a process in place so that you can do reasonable suspicion testing if you think that they may actually be impaired. Employees being impaired at work is a morale problem and a safety problem, especially in the restaurant industry. Slips, falls, cuts are all more likely to happen if you've got employees that are impaired by either drugs or alcohol. Under federal law, marijuana is still illegal. It is legal in Washington state, but that doesn't mean that an employee won't get in trouble for it if they've got it on their person or if they're under the influence. Washington is an at-will state, and what that means is that essentially you can terminate an employee for any reason at any time with or without notice. And the same goes for them. The employee can quit at any time for any reason with or without notice. There are small exemptions that carve sections out of that law, meaning you can't discriminate and you can't terminate somebody for their membership in a protected class, for example, but being under the influence is not a protected class. If you terminate an employee for being under the influence while at work and they file an unemployment claim, it is difficult to say whether or not they'll have any leg to stand on per unemployment insurance. The state is eventually who decides whether or not the employee is allowed to claim unemployment and receive unemployment benefits. However, if you've got a policy that is clearly documented and you can prove that the employee knew the policy and still continued to come to the work under the influence, you have probably a stronger leg to stand on when it comes to defending the claim.